Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Chew Quieter. We're doing things a little different here. I guess I get to do the intro today instead of Gabriel. So, hi, how's everyone doing? Good?
Hi.
That's good. Good to see
Hi,
you.
everyone.
Yeah, hello, hello.
A little weird.
A little weird, but whatever. I enjoy making things weird. It's good to make things a little weird here and there occasionally, piss people off,
Yeah,
the whole 9 yards.
we did a pretty good job of that last week.
Yeah, we pissed some people off last week, but not anyone who didn't deserve it. So
No, we actually caused quite a bit of a stir, from my understanding. I don't know about your inbox, but my inbox was just going ding, 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 ding.
For a couple hours it did, and then it just calmed down. Like, yeah, whatever. So, yeah, all good.
Yep. So, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. It was actually really good. Had a quick dinner with friends and some family. My sister and her husband and her kids live here now, so they came over and met us at our friend's house. It had seriously, it was we got there at 1:30. By I believe 5:30, we were out the door. And then the day before, I'd gone and set the trailer up down at the property in Florence. So I dropped the trailer off, set it up, and then we knew as soon as dinner was over, we were heading down to the property to go hang out for 2 days. No kids, nothing, just sitting around the fire, some drinks, some conversations, some tunes, and just chilling. Not having to hear about the kids bitch about what are we doing? I'm bored. None of that shit. We brought some snacks and some alcohol and hung out.
So, just some alcohol?
Just some. I didn't bring all of it. I just brought some of it.
How do you manage with just some?
Well, you bring enough some that it's enough for the time. So I don't need to bring all of the alcohol. I just bring some of it so it covers the time that you're there.
You were there for 3 days?
2 days.
2 days.
Yeah. So actually, it was a day and a half. And so we got there. I think we pulled in about 7 p.m. on Thursday night and pulled out of there about 11:45 on Saturday morning.
Nice.
So I didn't have to load the trailer up. I didn't have to put food in the trailer. I don't even think we put ice in the ice chest. We just threw everything in the fridge in the trailer and turned that on, and that was about it. Blankets and bedding was all stored in storage bags. They got pulled out of the storage bag. They smelled like dryer sheets. So perfect. We're good. So it was definitely a cool, easy trip. Didn't require 2 days of prep. Usually it's a pain in the ass. So way easy this trip. So I definitely need to do more of those, or else this thing's going to go bye-bye.
Yeah. My Thanksgiving was pretty chill. It was just the wife and I. We stayed here and made dinner, watched movies. A really easy, chill evening.
It's nice.
Obviously, I've been dieting a lot, and leading up to this food holiday, I did not prep well enough. My stomach has obviously shrunken, so I could not fit as much food in my belly as I wanted to. So by the time dinner was done, there was like no room for pie, and I really wanted pie.
Well, that's why you have dinner at like 3:00, and then you have pie at like 7:30.
Well, we did. We had dinner earlier than usual, a couple hours earlier than usual, and the anticipation was of that I can try to get it down and let it cycle and do its thing, and then put the pie down afterwards. But it was still forced. It was a challenge. I've never had a challenge eating a piece of pie until this day. It was interesting.
It's the good and bad of the diet, I guess.
Yeah. So in hindsight, we really should have had some bigger meals leading up to Thanksgiving.
Some belly stretcher meals.
Some belly stretching meals. Exactly. You know what I'm talking about. But we did have some sushi the night before. So it's not like I mean, you know how it is. Sushi's expensive, so I think I had just 2 rolls and a bowl of fried rice, and
Not bad.
yeah, that was really it. And when I really should have had 3 rolls and some fried rice and some like orange chicken or something.
Preparing for the feast.
Yeah. And also, this is the first Thanksgiving that I've been completely sober. No pot, no, obviously I haven't had any liquor for a long time. So, not having that additional substance to increase the hunger
You had
different.
no munchies. Yeah, you had no munchies.
Yeah. But it was good, though. It was a bit more challenging than I thought. Not having that desire to have an after meal joint or bowl or anything like that. So I handled it well. We watched. We started picking and choosing certain episodes to watch of our favorite series, like Game of Thrones. We watched the Battle of the Bastards, and then we watched the Great War. So it's just a weird thing that we've been doing lately.
Just
and then we found
finding your best episodes and just going for them.
Yeah, and then we started watching this new series. It's not new; it's new to us. It's called Abbott Elementary. It's a sitcom on ABC, and it's pretty goddamn funny.
And it's and it's something from ABC's funny.
Yeah, this is pretty damn funny. So it's about an elementary school staff, and it's along the lines of an Office type situation where there's cameras following around these teachers and the staff, and they make comments to the camera about certain things, and they narrate their day through with the camera, and it's really funny. It's very, very quick-witted humor. There's a lot of good innuendos in there. And the kid from Everyone Hates Chris, remember that TV show?
Yeah.
So he's a teacher in there, in that one.
Okay.
And he's pretty good. He's pretty funny.
I'd never heard of that one before.
Yeah, neither have I. We started kind of just flipping around Hulu looking for something to watch, and she puts it on, and I was like, this show's funny. We got to keep watching this. So we binge watched, I think, the first season.
Nice.
Yeah. But that was our Thanksgiving, and then the very next day, it was time to put up the Christmas decorations, and
oh no,
I almost broke my foot.
No bullshit. No, December 1st. December 1st, not a day before December 1st. December 10th, if I'm really going to be adamant about shit, December 10th is when decorations can go up.
Only I would almost break my foot putting up lights.
Did you fall off the ladder or something?
No, the ladder almost fell on me. So I went that morning to Lowe's to get some Black Friday deals, and I bought a 14-foot ladder. I didn't really have anything that stretched. So this ladder was on sale for $99. Using my Lowe's card, and it knocked it down to $86. I was like, that's a great deal. So it's a little giant ladder that has different variations. You can set it up. And one is, you push it up, you unhinge these things, and you push it.
Yeah, have the little clips that come through, and you can go to A-frame or a lean extension type ladder.
Right.
Yeah, I think I have one of those too. It's heavy as fuck.
It's not too bad.
Really? Okay, I got one that's heavy, and I hate it.
I can lift it by myself. It's not a problem.
I can lift it by myself. It's just I have a fiberglass ladder that, like, I walk with that and tools. This one is just like, holy hell, who fucking built this thing?
So testing it out, I pushed it to its extent, and not realizing that as soon as I pull out these little handles to let it collapse, it was just going to fall. And as soon as I released the handle, it just within a split second, it just fell and slid down the little bits in the ladder, and my foot was right under one of the feet that collapsed down. And the entire weight of the ladder with the inertia landed right on my pinky toe.
Oof. Yeah,
So
you're gonna have a pinky toe that looks like that soon.
so I did have a really nice bruise. The bruise is still there, but yeah, nothing was broken. I can still wiggle the toe and still walk on it. So I got a little lucky,
This little piggy's
but
still going to the market.
yeah, didn't have to wee all the way home or anything. But I still need another ladder to get to the top peaks on the second floor, the gables on the second story.
So you got to get a ladder to the first one, and then a second ladder up on the top to go to the next one.
Yeah. But my neighbor says he has a 32-foot ladder that he can borrow from his dad. And I was like, dude, you're getting up there for me.
Fucking 32
I don't
foot
think
ladder.
I don't think I could.
It's like an 18-foot or a 20-foot extension that extends to 32. Is that what that is? Holy hell!
I was like, I hate heights for one thing. I mean, going to Moab and sitting on the ledge of a cliff is one thing because you're on firm ground for
You're
the
on
most
stable
part.
ground, yeah.
But just climbing a ladder that's over 20 feet and it's like rickety and that whole thing, it's a little much for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, and it's one thing is that I grew up on ladders. My dad, his business was tinting windows, and we would have to do windows up and over arches and up buildings and stuff like that. So they were super tall. So I think he has an A-frame ladder that's like 20 feet tall. And I used to just sit there at the top and just sit on the top step, and they just throw shit up at me, and I just do what I need to do. So I don't have a problem with the ladder at all. It's just I just don't want to do it. They're like trying to get me to put lights around the house. I'm like, I don't want to do this for lights in the house. Fuck that.
Well, so I got to thinking, there's these new lights called the Govee permanent lights.
The permanent lights, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, if I'm going to be putting up lights up there, I should probably invest in these lights and just do it one time.
And do it one time.
Just get it over with.
Yeah. Then you could. They fit under. If you have an eave, they fit under your eave. They are protected from the elements for the most part. If you put them on under the eave, they light the house. They can let you do patterns and all the other stuff like that. So I looked at the permanent lights. The problem is the way that my house is built. I don't have any eaves like on half of the house because it's the round tile and it rolls over onto the stucco. So there's no place for me to even mount on some of the places that are there. So it's like it's kind of useless.
Yeah. The other downside to it is they're pretty expensive.
Yeah, and they're there all the time. Is it like $1,000 for a 100-foot kit, something like that?
It's for the 100-foot kit, it's $300, and then for the 100, okay. Yeah, and then for the 150-foot kit, it is almost $400.
Well, that's not bad because when originally I was looking at some of these when we first moved into this house, I was looking at some of these permanent lighting situations, and then they put them in tubes, and you have to buy the tube with the plastic over it, and then any junctions and turns. So you actually had to really map it out on what you wanted to do and how you wanted to put it in. But those were like $750, $800 for every 100 feet. And then it was like $400 for your controller. So the Govee is way better price than the other ones wherever were back then. The nice thing about them is that you have them up all the time. You have to go up there and run the ladder again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing is I don't want to have to put up lights that I'm going to have to take down in a month.
Yeah. So it's the time. You're paying for the time. They're permanent. They're going to last. They're not going to kill themselves in 6 months. And then you don't have to be the person that has your Christmas lights all the time because you just change colors on different occasions. And then they're permanent lights.
Yeah. Turn them green for St. Patrick's. Turn them red, white, and blue for
4th of July.
4th of July.
Yeah, Veterans Day. So we have a bunch of houses in our neighborhood that are not the same style as ours that have nice eaves, and they all have them like motherfuckers.
So, not last week, but the week before, you went to a concert that I'm actually kind of jealous about. Tell us about it a little bit.
Yeah. So local, I think we talked about. I went into the Yacht Rock to Ambrosia and Firefly a couple months ago. Kim loves her Yacht Rock, and I can't really
Amen,
stand it.
Kim. She's my buddy.
And then War was playing down at the same arena, and the seats are cheap. It's like $30, $35. I think the front section is like $50, and then the middle section is 45, and then the back section was like $35. Just last minute. It was like Saturday at like 2 p.m. The girls were both gone at work, and we're like, well, what do we do today? What are we gonna do today? And I was like, wait, fucking War is on. Like, let's get tickets. So I got tickets, and we went down there. And history, War to me, definitely some of their songs I knew. I didn't really know how much of their songs I really knew. And the big thing, Lowrider song, was never really, didn't really grow up in the lowrider culture. I appreciate what lowriders are and what work and everything that goes into building one that's like a top-notch vehicle. The paint, I mean, everything about it just wasn't my scene, but I still appreciate what it was. And the song Lowrider is something I grew up with. And then going out and it was great. I've never really been a big concert goer. I've been to a number of concerts over the years, but never was like my thing that I always have to go to a concert. Or there was a concert coming, I have to go see it. It was never my thing. But 75-year-old lead singer of War, still one of the last original guys in the band that started in like 1969, ran an incredible show. And it was a jam session like I've never experienced. It was just fun. It was lively. I realized again, there was more of their songs that I've heard through the years that didn't even realize that it was War.
Name one.
I didn't realize that "Spill the Wine" was a War song. "Spill the Wine." So what you're going to realize is War started as Eric Burdon and the War Band. So Eric Burdon of the Animals is the voice that you know from "Spill the Wine" is a War song. It's like, okay, "Why Can't We Be Friends?" I mean, like all these songs that just popped up. I was like, didn't know that was the worst. Did you know
Cisco Kid was a War song?
Yeah, no, I knew Cisco Kid and Lowrider. That was the two that I knew.
That's amazing to me.
Like I said, it wasn't really a band it wasn't my parents' style, so it wasn't something that I grew up with. I knew the songs just from radio and probably going over to other people's or family friends' house and hearing it over the years, but it's not like it was a band that I've ever followed or even considered that I'd even want to watch or see. And
see, that's just crazy because, I mean, we grew up in the same area, and there was a big radio station back home called KRLA. And there was a guy that was a host of the radio show, famous guy. A lot of people know him. His name was Art LeBeau. And he had his radio show, I think it was once a week, right, on a Sunday. And he played a lot of oldies, and including a lot of modern oldies, and then included War was part of that set.
And
so it's crazy to me that you didn't really put that together.
I'd never really listened to the Art LeBeau show. It wasn't really my scene. It wasn't something that I was into. Yeah, like I said, it's just I appreciate the stuff that they do. I just was never really into them and knew half of what they even did.
That's crazy.
So
So my dad,
since then, I've been like totally into like follow 'em on Facebook, on Instagram now. I've seen like updates, and like I've been like reading through their chronicles and their history and everything.
my dad was in a band when I was growing up. Actually, before I was even born, he was in a band, and they did a ton of cover songs. And when I was a kid, I got interested in playing the bass guitar. And one of the first songs that he taught me was a war song, and I think it was All Day Music.
Okay.
I'm almost positive the song was All Day Music. So just as a kid, always hearing him play certain songs from war, Malo, Santana, a lot of those Latin fusion bands, I always just knew about it. But I guess that's the difference, is that was just something that I grew up with, whereas you're saying it just wasn't part of your
My
thing.
parents weren't really into that music scene, and they weren't really their groups that they listened to. I mean, my parents were more hippies. They were Beatles, Eagles, Aerosmith, Rolling Stones. I mean, any of the classic artists. I mean, Bob Seger is like still one of my favorites, and it's my dad's favorite. Just one of those things that I grew up with, was more of the classic rock style in the music back then, the 70s and 80s.
So tell me about the actual concert. When you get there, are you kind of blown away by the demographic?
So we talked about it before I left. I was like, I don't know if I'm expecting all bunch of veteranos out there. Am I expecting just all the old people because it's snowbird season and Saguaro is filled with snowbirds? I just wasn't sure what we were going to get, and it was a good mix of both. It was the people that just liked it for who they were. There was a lot of the veteranos there. There was a lot of
elbows out.
There was a lot of elbows out. There was a lot of crunchy hair, and a lot of women that shouldn't have been wearing what they were wearing. So
they look like a can of biscuits just opening up.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. You can't put biscuit in toilet paper. So, but no, it was great. It was great. There was when we first walked in, it was Veterans Day weekend. So when we first walked in, there was this older Marine guy that was sitting next to the wall, and we were in line to go get alcohol. I was going to go thank him for his service, and when we got our drinks and turned around, he was gone. I was like, fuck, okay. But he was like, he had a jacket, marined out. The guy was probably 60, 65, 5'5", 5'6". Just, he looked like an ex-Marine or former Marine, not ex, you're never an ex-Marine, I know.
Right.
A former Marine. And I was like, shit, he's gone. So during the performance, he's like yelling on the stage, whatever, hey, wish the Marines a happy birthday. And Lonnie, their lead singer, called him up on the stage, and he ran up on the stage and he did a whole thing about the Marines and Marines' birthday, and he thanked all the veterans and everyone, and it was really cool that they like took the time out for that. And then after, I was sitting by the bathroom waiting for the ladies to finish, and the Marine came by, and we sat and talked and for a couple minutes, and it was cool. He was he was on freaking cloud nine. He was just like, I can't believe it. He was just he was totally pumped, whatever. And then there was another guy sitting next to me, and he was probably 35-ish. And he's like, oh, I love war. I grew up on war, and my parents love it. And it's like, I'm so glad they played this song. I didn't think they were going to play this song, and blah, blah, blah. And it was just weird that you see the different people that were there. He was from Barbados, and older guy, probably 60s, early 70s. was sitting talking to him and this other 35-year-old. So it was like this crazy demographics of people that were sitting and talking over. And this guy, he left Barbados. He said he came over in the 80s and he's seen war like 20 times. He's like, sees them like whenever they come around and stuff. And he's like, I've been listening to him for my whole life.
It's crazy to me that they're pegged as kind of a rock, funk, Latin, jazz fusion band because the demographic of the band itself is widely mixed. Blacks, whites, Latins.
Yeah.
So the reach that they've had throughout the years is pretty wild. They're originally from Long Beach, and I think the band members have changed quite a bit since the originals.
Yeah, band members have changed quite a bit. The origination was in Long Beach, but if you go around and you look at the history, Lonnie was from Chula Vista.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of the guys from Tijuana, another guy, one of the new, and these are the new guys from Mexico, and they're coming from Mexico to interview for this band to be in this band, and they're like now a part of this band. But yeah, definitely the culture, everything is so varied, and the music. I mean, we didn't get to the music. I mean, it was a jam session, and we're talking these guys are all 60 plus, and just getting down. The drums, got down to the drums. There's percussion, got down to percussion. Lonnie was on the keyboard. The guitarist. I mean, everybody had their like 3, 4, 6 minute just total jam where it was in between songs and they just went and jammed. It was spectacular. It wasn't about just the songs. It was about all of the instruments and everything. And I mean, there's probably 100 instruments on that stage.
Yeah.
Counting all the percussion and stuff that happens with that band, and all the different sounds, the textures that it all introduce, and it just brings I don't know. I left there and still like it was like the greatest show ever. They're coming again. We're going to go 100%. It's there's no question about it. Like it was just great. So no, definitely the greatest concert I've ever been to in terms of fun and what they did out on stage and throughout the whole performance. It was great.
So that 70s era of music, that funk, jazz fusion type band, I think was severely underrated back then. I mean, we had Chicago, we had Tower of Power, there was War. I know I'm missing a whole bunch of others, but
Steely Dan is on that list.
So I saw Steely Dan 15 years ago. They stopped through. They were doing their Asia tour, and they did the entire Asia album. And I've been a huge Steely fan, Dan, since I can't even remember when. But when I heard they were going to be stopping through Denver, I bought tickets. Mm-hmm. And I get there, and I was probably, God, I was still I think I was maybe 28, 29 at the time. I was the youngest person there.
Yeah.
And I didn't care. I was
I'm here for what I want. I don't really care. Yeah. I don't really care what you look at me as.
And I thought it was funny because there were so many non-rhythmic white people there clapping on the one instead of the two. Like, come on, people, get it together. You're fucking me up here. It was awesome because Walter Becker was still alive. He had since passed. I think he's been passed away for almost 7 years now or so. But Donald Fagen was just, with this stereotypical Coke can sitting on his keyboard, just playing away. It was by far one of my favorite. I've been to so many concerts, and that was by far easily in my top 5.
Yeah, and we talked about this, and after the war thing, I was like, I want to like more bands. Like I was like looking over more bands. I'm like, I want to go see Steely Dan. Well, I can look up at Steely Dan's playing with the Eagles in their final farewell tour. So I just spent I don't know how much money for tickets to go see. So go see the Eagles and Steely Dan in New Orleans next year.
I'm lucky enough that I saw James Brown in concert.
Nice.
There was a place called the Pepsi Pavilion. It was an outside venue in the parking lot of the Pepsi Center, which it's called something else now. But back in the day in Denver, where the Nuggets and Avalanche play, it was called the Pepsi Center.
Okay.
Adjacent to that, in the parking lot, they had something in the summer every year called the Pepsi Pavilion. And James Brown was the headliner that year. I didn't care who else was going to be there. I bought tickets. I was like, I got to see James Brown.
Yeah.
He was probably 85 years old, still doing the splits, still dancing, still sweating his ass off.
Still James Brown.
Doing it. Just crushing it.
That's just what he loved to do.
It was awesome. It was again, top 5 favorite concert. And then I saw Prince twice, back-to-back days. He was also and it was in Denver. It was at the Pepsi Center. So the first night was sold out. I had a great time. I was pissed off that he didn't do Nikki and Hump the Stage. I guess he didn't do that anymore because he found the Jehovah's Witness religion. So he took that out of his repertoire. So I bought tickets for the following day thinking, well, maybe he just didn't have enough time to do it. So I bought tickets for the next night, went to the next night, and it was the exact same set. I was like, oh, fuck. I don't care. I don't care. I saw him twice.
It's still a good time. Yeah. It's definitely, it was fun to find that nugget and be surprised as I was. It was great. And like I said, still one of those things I'm like, oh, it was great. I'm like sitting there and it's like I now have a war channel on Pandora, nice. It's just like it's getting more and more into that. So, but now I'm getting excited about seeing the jam session that Steely Dan's going to be able to do. Mm. And then I go and find out that Chicago is playing with Earth, Wind, and Fire also next year. Yeah. So
that'll be a good show.
So that'll be a great show. So I've been looking around for places to go see that, and there's some smaller arenas that they're playing in Connecticut, but they're playing like on a Tuesday night. I'm like going to Connecticut for a Tuesday night concert. 3 days of travel for a concert in the middle of the week. That's not going to happen most likely. So they're playing in Phoenix in a show. So probably finding some Phoenix tickets. They're still not sold out or anything, so should be pretty good.
How much pot smoke was going on at that show?
Not a lot, because you're on the reservation at that casino. It's an Indian casino, so you're on the res. So there's no vape, nothing, but there was some. You could smell a little bit of it, and but it wasn't. If it would have been outdoors and not in there, I'm sure it would have been way different.
How much did you take?
I didn't take anything. I just drank. I think I had 2 drinks, and that was it. I was enjoying everything about just the show. I think the Ambrosia show, I drank like 40 drinks. This one I had like 2.
I think that's a barometer of a good time is you not wanting to leave your seat because you might miss something.
Yeah, exactly.
So the less drinks you have, the better time of a show it was.
Yeah, unless I have to go to the bathroom, because every time I have a drink, I have to go to the bathroom 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
So it was some of that too, but it was great. We talked about this and like how we bring this into the conversation, and I was thinking like wheeling. What do we do for music and when you're wheeling? Like out on a trail, like what was your go-to on a trail?
It really was all about my mood, and I think it was more about the trail too. If it was a rock crawling trail, it was more hip hop, definitely more hip hop. As you know, I'm a humongous Wu-Tang fan. So there was a lot of Method Man Tical that was more aggressive, more Old Dirty Bastard, Return 36 Chambers that was aggressive. A lot of Rakim also being played. So it was a lot of aggressive hip hop. DMX.
Mm-hmm.
If
you
it was,
don't get more aggressive than that.
oh god. If it was just a really mundane trail, nothing too difficult. It was a lot of yacht rock, just because I was just chill. I was just enjoying the scenery, climbing. For example, going up to, I don't know if you've heard the trail Red Cone in Colorado, but it's very easy to do, and you're climbing to the top of a peak of a mountain, and I think it's 12,000 something feet.
Yeah, so one of the bigger peaks.
Yeah, so that was definitely a yacht rock trail, music trail. When I was in Moab, I think most of the time I was just jamming out to nothing but hip hop.
Yeah.
And then there would be times where I would not have music on at all. It just depended on who the company was and if we had CBs or walkies or whatever it might be. There could have been a lot of chatter and people just, talking the whole time and enjoying each other's company via radio.
Yeah. 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 I think similar, but when I first started the vehicle that had a radio, for the longest time I had vehicles without radios, that my off-road vehicles never had radios. So it was you didn't have radio.
Didn't even have a pullout.
No, not in off-road vehicle. I mean, in my old Toyota I did, but you were in an area where you didn't get much reception, so you'd have to put your CDs or your tapes in. There was no fumbling with that, so I never really did it. It was always quiet. And then I think when I got the JK, and then there was satellite radio, I'd always listen to the Elvis channel.
Really?
Yeah. What's funny is there's a trail out here called Elvis, and we used to do Elvis a lot. So it was like always playing Elvis. And so my kids like, oh, we're going wheeling, we're going to listen to Elvis. Mm-hmm. But through the years, I've kind of mixed it up and done more. But yeah, like you said, with radios and adding race radios, and was never really a big CB person, but race radios and stuff, that changed dynamic. I think we did the first Elevated Venture, and it was just radio chatter the whole trip, the whole time, between Corey telling us about the local landmarks and history, and everyone else just giving shit to each other just because we were all kind of friends together. That kind of consumed most of the day. But yeah, it was, I think classic rock tends to be more of my go-to for the most part now. Mm-hmm.
I'm really surprised sometimes by some people's music. There's a guy, I know you don't know him, but we call him Jeffro. He's out here in Tennessee, and I don't know if it's a joke or not, but from my understanding is on repeat the entire time he has 3 6 Mafia on the song Chicken Head. I don't know if it's true or not, but if it is true, God bless you, Jeffro.
Yeah, and then you have people like Clanton, who's always like the most obscure, obscene music you can imagine is going to be coming from Clanton's music. and now that fucker works for Rockford Fosgate. I'm sure it's only going to get louder.
Oh yeah. Man, I actually miss a lot of times just walking up to people with my camera, just unsuspectingly coming up on them and listening to what they're playing.
What comes up in the background through their
because like I said, sometimes it's just the most unsuspecting thing that you would think they would be playing.
Yeah.
It's just it's funny how music talks to people in certain ways and in different times and different moods and everything else. It's the brilliance of music, I think.
Yeah. Everyone enjoys music. I don't know anyone that says, "Oh, I just hate music at all." I mean, yeah, you might like one type of music, but you like music, or you're just psychopath like me that just likes everything
Mhm.
except for some stuff. But like everything except for Taylor Swift
Yeah.
and it shitty ass new country music that's not country music.
So the only time that I've ever gotten shit on for playing certain music was when I was producing videos, either just random videos for Crawl 5280 or the actual production of Kingdom Crawl. The biggest complaint was, "Oh, that music sucks. That song sucks." And when you're trying to produce something, you set the scene with music.
Mm-hmm.
It could either be like, there's a lot of times where I would use slow motion and paint pictures and then use the music to emphasize the narrative that I was giving.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time there was a scene where it was just an introduction to the show for this one episode. We're in South Dakota, and I used a lot of slow motion shots and symphony music. And my narrative was poetic, kind of. I don't want to say poetic; that's the wrong term. But it was just a meaningful dialogue. And someone made a comment on it and said, "You need to put better music on there." And I replied, because there was the same person on the second video in a row, and I said, "Listen, if you don't like it, just stop fucking watching. I don't care. Don't need your fucking one view. If you can't appreciate the music, what the fuck is wrong with you?"
Yeah, it's not what you listen to all the time. It's just an intro.
Yeah,
It's an intro. It's a scene. It's setting a scene. It's setting something.
and if you can't appreciate symphony type music, I don't know what's wrong with you, because it takes a special ear to hate it.
Yeah.
It's not something that you want to listen to all the time, but the genius behind it, like Mozart, Beethoven,
Mm-hmm.
Bach, let's see you try to write something like that, and I bet you can't even read one note or tell me what that note says or what key that note is in.
Yeah, and I mean, it's all the sounds have to come together. It's a symphony.
Mm-hmm.
Getting everything to come in align and time right and sound and portray everything you're trying to portray in that time, and then that timing is genius.
Yeah. All right. So, top 5 concerts that you've been to.
Top 5 concerts. Ew, I don't even think I freaking can even. I might go top 3. And I think one of them I don't remember.
That's easy to forget. That's a great time.
So I'm putting War as number 1 for now. Just because of the experience and what that was. Maybe at the time it was probably like what it was to me, and what the artist meant to me was Ice-T.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw Ice-T at Sunset a Go-Go.
Oh,
Sunset
wow.
Go-Go? Yeah, in a little teeny auditorium. And there was probably 200 people in there. Almost completely unknown Ice-T.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 3, it's probably NWA at the Celebrity Theater in Anaheim.
Mm-hmm.
The round stage.
Was it the original group or was it the older group?
It was original. No, it was NWA. It was original. Okay. Dre, Cube, Ren, Easy. It was the original NWA. That's it. I've seen Metallica, I don't know how many times, but anytime I go to a concert in a large arena that's extremely loud and large scale concerts, I don't hear the music great. I don't really enjoy it. So although I wanted to see Metallica because Metallica is still one of my favorite bands, just never really enjoyed a Metallica concert.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was fun, but I never really enjoyed it. I think it's always been the small concerts. I mean, even as far as there's a band called Turn the Page. It's a Sam Morrison band, and they do the Turn the Page concert, and they're just a cover band, and they just do all Bob Seger and Bob Seger, Skinner, Molly Hatchet, Southern Rock. It's Southern Rock and Bob Seger, and saw them in a small venue in Payson, Arizona. There's probably 200 people in there, and that was probably one of the better ones. But not really the band, not really original band or anything. So I'm like, I don't know if I count that one. But for the most part, I just love these smaller shows and the big arena stuff. What did we see? Oh, we saw Kenny Chesney at Chase Field. It was the worst concert ever. Garth Brooks at the Forum wasn't that great. And as much as at the time I was totally into both of them, that was just didn't produce the sounds that I enjoyed as much.
So I think you're onto something, because I remember seeing a lot of shows at small venues, and my favorite concert that I've ever been to, my number one, I saw Wu-Tang Clan in Athens, in LA. That's that small little city in the middle of between Compton and Watts, Athens. That's how small that fucking city is.
Never heard of Athens.
Not a great neighborhood whatsoever. But I saw them there was an old bowling alley that they turned into a nightclub.
Okay.
And it was Wu-Tang Clan just by themselves. And my friend Freddie and I went, and we're in line, and it was the funniest thing. So we're in line waiting to get to the front door to pay to walk in, and there was a graded section, like a gate, and all of a sudden this hand goes through the gate, and he starts reaching for the blunt that we were smoking. I'm like, what the fuck? Where did this hand come from? He's like, can I get a hit of that? I'm like, no, I'll never get this thing back. So we get inside, we push our way to the front. There was no way I was not going to get to the front. This was it. It was a small venue. I had to. Show starts. Method Man comes out and says, all right, everyone's here tonight except Old Dirty Bastard. He's still at the hotel. He's under the weather, this and that sort of thing. The show's going on probably a good 40 minutes, 45 minutes in. And all of a sudden, you hear a ruckus in the back in the back. And I kind of look, and I'm thinking there's a fight. But the crowd just kind of splits like Moses parting the Red Sea, and walking to the stage is Old Dirty Bastard.
Nice. And
he walks right by me. And I'm like in awe, because I fucking loved Old Dirty Bastard. I was just in awe, like, he's here. This is going to be great. Jumps on stage, grabs a microphone. First thing he says, I wasn't going to come here tonight. I ate some bad pussy and my throat really hurts. And right when he says that, they drop the needle and they start playing Shimmy Shimmy Yaw. And I was just like, I fucking lost my fucking head. Start fucking just head nodding.
Yeah, that's how you get into it. And just that small intimate crowd is way better. And finding this casino down Sarita, this venue, I mean, I don't even know how many seats are in there, but it can't be more than 1,500. So even in the back row, you're only 100 feet from the stage.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 125 feet, but you sit in that middle row and in the section 2, like you're 50 feet, 60 feet from the stage. So it's right there. It's intimate. it's the sound is great. It's in a smaller venue, so it's not bouncing everywhere and losing its sound. It actually sounds clean and clear in there. So it's definitely that smaller venue brings a lot to the experience for me.
You ever been to a House of Blues?
No.
So those venues, I think they're all gone now, except for the one in LA. But the House of Blues in LA that I've been to, fabulous place for a show, because it's not exactly a huge venue, but it's not a very small venue. It's kind of like right in the middle, right in that sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter where you're sitting or standing, it's a great fucking view. And it's a great system they got in there for audio, for any audio files. It's just a really good place to watch a show.
Yeah, that would be it. Like I said, I'm looking around at tickets for the Chicago and Earth, Wind, and Fire, and there's this one concert on a Tuesday night in Connecticut, and it's in a 5,700 seat arena. I'm like, that's the one I want to go to, but it's a Tuesday night in Connecticut. I'm like, fuck. So there's no direct flights to this little town in Connecticut from Phoenix that are affordable. So I'm like, private jet to Connecticut. How much is it going to cost me?
So the one show that I haven't seen, and the one band that I haven't seen that I've always wanted to see, and it's just been shitty timing because they've always been in Colorado, but it's Hall & Oates. They were always performing at Red Rocks, and for whatever reason, I either couldn't go because I wasn't available or something. But
time was just never on.
Yeah, but Hall & Oates is one of the bands that I've always wanted to see and I haven't seen yet. One of these days. I keep saying that. One of these days.
One of these. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, yeah, I probably would love to see Seeger live, but that's gone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's alive, but he's not touring anymore. I'm trying to think, like, who would I really want to see?
Who dead would you have wanted to see besides Seeger?
Well, he's alive, so. Maybe Eagles alive, all members alive, original members alive would be probably number one.
Mm.
I'm going to see him, but I mean, you're missing some important pieces on the current bill. So just like it's going to be good, but it's still not fully the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know. It's a good question. I had to think about one a little more.
I think I would want to see either John Lennon or Tupac.
Yeah.
Actually, let's just take it a step further and say the Beatles as a group. I mean, because there's only one living or two living right now. So, well, Ringo's not really important anyway. Fucking smash a snare. So he's always the forgotten one that people don't give love to.
I thought he was a cute one.
Ringo?
Is he the cute one? Oh no, that's the Monkees.
Oh yeah, you're thinking of what's his name?
Davy Jones.
Davy Jones.
Davy Jones is a cute one.
The Monkees were almost a spin-off of the Beatles, right? They were a parody. They were supposed to be a parody group.
Mm-hmm.
Because they even had their own TV show.
Yeah.
Which was a great show, by the way.
It was a great show. It was a funny show. They were all very funny and great characters.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I'm trying to think. Now you got me thinking about this. Who would it be? I don't even know. Oh, I know who it would be. Louis Armstrong.
Oh.
Little Satchmo in New Orleans.
That's a good call. My wife and I have been talking about actually going to New Orleans next year for like either Thanksgiving or Christmas or something like that.
Eagles and and Steely Dan. Meet us there.
That's not a bad idea. But yeah, I think for us it's only like an 8-hour drive.
Yeah. Nice thing is I can get a nonstop each way. It's 3.5 hours each way from here. So I'm like, yeah, it's easy.
Yeah. God damn, I love music.
Yeah, I know. It's so much a part of what I do every day. And I mean, the first thing I get in the car is figure out what I'm listening to.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if I'm going to the gas station to grab a rock star or if I'm heading on a trip across the country. It's first thing is settle the music.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's no music. Sometimes it's just got to get on the phone or whatever happens. But as soon as that's done, it's like, okay, settle the music, have the music. And then long trips, I get bored. So it's like I'm all over the place. So every genre that I enjoy pops up in the music.
So I actually created a playlist on my Spotify called Samples from Hip Hop. And just being a former DJ, I have always been fascinated with, and I was a producer also. I produced hip hop. So I was always fascinated with dissecting hip hop and finding where those samples came from.
Mm-hmm.
So I started this playlist and gradually just built it up, as I went along. I would hear a hip hop song, like, oh, that's, so-and-so. I'd search Spotify, I'd look for it, find it, put it in that playlist. So now that playlist is up to over like 150 songs now. And I just do it very gradually. Nice. So it's one of my favorites to listen to when I just, wanted to hang out and just chill, because a lot of the hip hop samples are
it's old funk and old jazz and R&B and yeah, there's a lot of everything in the classic realm of I mean, you're getting a lot of the Berry Gordy in there. You're getting all the Motown gets in there.
Bootsy Collins,
you get all of that.
Zapp and Roger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so all of that old school is very prominent and cut and mixed into little pieces, and you get the little snippet. And it's funny to hear, like, you hear a snippet and then like you hear the song, like, how many years have I listened to that song? And I didn't realize that little piece that they cut it through was part of that song. And it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Music is my life, as a song once said.
Yeah, no, it's definitely huge part of life.
There was a hip hop producer who passed away quite a while ago, Jay Dilla. A lot of people probably don't know of him, but he produced probably some of the most iconic hip hop songs in history. He passed from, I think it was either, he had a disease and I can't remember, and I probably shouldn't just speculate, but they showed his record library in his basement, and it was from wall to wall, from floor to ceiling. And this guy, all he would do all day is just turn around, go to his wall, pick out a record, drop the needle on the record, listen for, the little inkling of, oh, that sounds good. Or he would pick apart, he just wanted one bass kick from a kick, or one hit from a kick drum. And he would take that one hit from a kick drum or a snare or a hi-hat. And then he would piece together his own drum kit. And then he would go find another record, and he'd hear a vocal. It could be one note, it can be a phrase, it can be a word. And then he put shit together. The guy was just amazing. One of the most amazing hip hop producers of all time. In my opinion, better than Dr. Dre. He's probably up there as number one as hip hop producers. but he never really got the recognition because he was always part of either a group or he had a pseudonym. So he didn't really always go by Jay Dilla, which was a damn shame. He produced a lot of shit for Farside. He produced a lot of shit for Tribe Called Quest. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Common, like I said, it just goes on and on.
Yeah, it's weird how so much influence comes from all these groups from one guy,
Mm-hmm.
and then how much that one guy can bring an entire like catalog of musicians in and can work with them differently and get them to follow in his ideals. It's pretty cool.
So if anyone is listening to this and is curious, check him out. His name is Jay Dilla, Dilla, just J, period Dilla. You'll find that his catalog is vast, extremely vast. My other favorite producer in hip hop, of course, is Dr. Dre, and you'll hear a lot of his samples from. He used he sampled a different way than Jay Dilla did. Jay Dilla, like I said, he would take bits and pieces from every record that he had, whereas Dre would take bars. He would sample, 2 bars, 4 bars, 6 bars, or an entire 8-bar section, and then put it together
build around
the way he wanted.
Build around that as the main structure.
Right. So production technique in hip hop is there's no right way. I shouldn't say there's no wrong way, because there is a wrong way.
There's wrong ways.
But it's very similar to what the RZA used to do when he was producing also. Well, still is producing, just not as much as he was before. Whereas the RZA would try to evolve and incorporate his own live sounds into samples. So he learned to play the keyboard. He learned to play the bass guitar. He actually had his brother play the bass guitar for a lot of stuff in the first Wu-Tang album, 36 Chambers. It's just the way that hip hop has always been produced. Like I said, there hasn't really been one single formula. I mean, you could even go into DJ Quick, another prolific producer in hip hop, and he does his own tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So when people say that hip hop is just nothing but samples, it's not totally true. There's a lot of originality in it. It's just you have to find it and appreciate it when you do find it.
Yep. And I think probably back when it was just infancy days of it not even having a real home or anything, I've always been a fan of that genre of music and listening back. I mean, I remember being early 80s trying to find a longer antenna so I could listen to K-Day.
Yes, for those that don't know, K-Day was a hip hop station in San Francisco.
They broadcast and had a tower out in Watts.
Yeah.
Or not Watts, on the hill. City on the Hill.
El Segundo?
No, back the other way. Shit.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I just can't think of it either. It's near Long Beach.
No, not Signal Hill. It's where the Fox Hills Mall is.
Oh God, I can't think of it. I haven't been out there in so long.
I know. Neither have I. Not Culver City. It's up above Culver City. There's the hills
Burbank?
above there. No. It's shit.
Woodland Hills?
No, Woodland Hills is in the valley. Jeez.
But K-Day was the West Coast version of everything that East Coast had. It was the first West Coast hip hop radio station, and then evolved, and it kind of evolved into something else, where LA stations started having their own. They had Power 106, and then 92.3 The Beat came along, which was awesome. They started having their own concerts, Powerhouse, summer jams. Which
Yeah,
I went to. I went to almost every summer jam I think there was.
and they brought Big Boy out to Power 106, and that change in that, and actually brought hip hop into more of a mainstream instead of this AM freaking station. um,
And then they also had remember the Baker Boys?
the Baker Boys, yep.
Even Carmelo Anthony's ex-wife Lala was a radio DJ for The Beat at one point, and she was from New York, so she brought a lot of that flavor and artists more interested to come out west to perform and be on the shows.
Yeah. Baldwin Hills is where where the transmitter for KD was. So Baldwin Hills way over here. I lived 20 some miles east of that in Monterey Park, and needed a longer antenna to be able to listen to it. And that was trying to think. It wasn't even on FM back then.
It might have been on FM. I think it was like 101 frequency area.
No, 93.5 on FM. I'm gonna have to look up the whole thing now, because now I'm drawing huge blanks on it.
Did you know one of the first rap songs was by Blondie?
By Blondie?
Yeah. She the song Rapture, she did one of the first raps in music.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can consider that the original rap, but still,
I don't want to say not the original, but one of the first.
One of the first. I was like, she was probably still. Let's see what year was that?
I want to say it was 79, 80. Yeah. Obviously, I was a kid back then, but that was in the infancy of the MTV days.
Mm-hmm.
When they actually played videos.
1980.
Yep.
1980, but even before that, we had
Sugar Hill Gang. Houdini.
Houdini was going to be after that.
Curtis Blow, I should have said Curtis Blow.
Yep.
But I'll be honest with you. That era of rap, it was super corny.
There was corny stuff, but there was also some really good stuff that came out of that. The Grandmaster Flash, Africa Bambaataa. I mean, there's so much that came out of that, and really pushed into that that era, the Curtis Blow. I'm looking this up, going, oh shit, that's stuff I haven't thought about for quite some time now. Sugar Hill Gang, yeah. So I mean, like old school, I remember, like for me, listening was Toddy T and the Batteram. When they were taking the Batteram and knocking over crack houses, was back in the day of song. I mean, they just like all this stuff, and my friends thought I was just like this weirdo that I listened to this music, and it wasn't mainstream at all. There was no mainstream that you were getting at all, and they were like, "What are you listening to?"
Yeah,
but yeah, so much good stuff back then. And it's changed a lot, but like everything, you gotta get through and change some things to make it work.
Hip hop today has devolved, in my opinion. There are still some classic artists that hold true to the conventional thought method of writing and producing, but I would say the majority of it has just turned to trash. It's all trap beats now, and lyrics are all the same about, drug dealing and
Bitches and money.
yeah, it's gotten kind of gross.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know if it's that, or if I'm that old now where I grew up in the golden era of hip hop. We had the best artists, EPMD, MC Light. I mean, Jay-Z back then was not freakish looking. Nas.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's in my opinion, it's
and I look back even further to that, going, there was like some other great groups that were around back then. So the original KD was on 1580 AM. That's what I was looking for. And that was a 10,000 watt at 1580 AM. So 10,000 watts from Baldwin Hills to Monterey Park is a long way to travel.
I think we've traveled quite a long way down this road of music today, so we should probably wrap it up.
Yeah. Cool. Well, it was a great conversation. Definitely the music is always inspiring. That show with War was just incredible. I am still just like amazed at how much I didn't know I was going to enjoy that. It went from, hell, we just spent $30, let's go do this, to, holy fuck, I can't believe I only spent $30 on that. There's so many other shitty things I spent $30 on. Like, it's actually $30 on something I really enjoyed is different.
I mean, I spent $130 in 30 minutes of a strip club once, so I mean, that's not $30 is nothing for a good show.
Oh, jeez.
On that note,
laughing, I'm gonna have a cough attack. I'm gonna die here on this talking about $100 at a strip club. Damn it!
All right, folks. Well, hope you've enjoyed our music episode. I guess you want to call it.
Yeah, something like that.
Went down a rabbit hole, and we just never came out.
That's what we always do.
Yeah. Oh well. All right, folks. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.
Yep. Thank you.